Hello, Holy One. Hello, hello. I'm so grateful to be in this space with you and to be sharing these higher dimensional, higher vibrational understandings. So, we're going to jump right in. I have my AQE Foundations course going on right now. If you're watching this video before March 10th, you still have the opportunity to register for this glorious, sacred, expansive space. But the AQE Foundation space is the ACASMA Quantum Expansion, ACASMA Quantum Energy that I do, that I teach. And so many of you are familiar with my work. And I have a beautiful group of students in the course right now. And I have received a few questions in email format. So I'm going to go ahead and answer them here, and I'll be sharing them with everyone. I think it's a wonderful way to get a glimpse inside of the AQE Foundation space and also to be able to offer these expansive understandings. So in AQE Foundations, the course itself runs 9 weeks, and we go through 3 different levels of higher dimensional understandings, higher vibrational understandings of ourselves, that we are in this now version able to truly begin to live from, really reconnect. Yes. And so in the course space, we have 1 class a week, and then we have an attuning session. So that's an activation and energy session where I, through the quantum field, energetically, consciously connect in with all those who are the students of the course, intending to receive that connection with me, with the field. And I work with their energy, consciousness, their field, their auric field, their belief structures, their personality traits. It's all connected. There's no separation. There's no dividing this thing up. I also even working with their physical ailments, diseases, distresses, whatever's going on for them. And this now individualized experiential space is going to be receiving the effects of the energy work I'm doing with them for an optimal alignment. It is also quantum, so it is every space of their being as well. We see a lot of family healing. So we see generational healing, children, parents, all directions of which the energy is connected. So that beautiful attuning space is once a week, a few hours after the class space. So some of the questions are going to be connected to that attuning space. So I wanted to preface this with what they're asking about. All right, so let me read this question, or questions really, and I will be giving the answers to these here. All right, so the first thing the student said is, they noticed that the notes I shared on what I am experiencing in this Cosmic Quantum Energy attuning session with my students, they noticed that I have all this information to share, they are very detailed notes. And they said that at this point in their journey, in their experience with the C to C space, the consciousness to consciousness space, the cosmic quantum energy attuning space, that they're seeing like blackness, and they're trusting and they have faith and they're leaning in, but they're not seeing what I'm seeing, and not even, feeling as if they're seeing as much or anything else besides this void. And so they wanted to know, basically, is that going to change for them? Is that going to change for them? And I have absolute positive proof from student upon student that that does change. It changes as you change, because you are activating and opening up your gifts of inner sight the more you allow space for inner sight to be used. So every single time you do meditation or imagination or an energy session, any of these spaces where you're keying into the sight that's going on in your consciousness, your energy field, your soul space, your eternal light, it's I. Anytime you're giving that space the opportunity to see, it will begin to flex that muscle. It will begin to activate that space of itself. You activating that space of you. And I have many, many students who have come through AQE over the past few years, and they started out seeing the blackness. I started out seeing the blackness. I saw void. I have meditations on my YouTube channel, energy sessions on my YouTube channel where I guide people in and I state clearly, look into the blackness, look into the void, and allow yourself to then imagine, visualize, trust yourself. What are you sensing? What are you feeling? And in the beginning, most of the time it shifts to colors. Most people, they, not all, but most people will say the first difference is they'll start to see waves of colors coming in. And most people, it's purple, which is a really beautiful connection for most of divinity, of love, unconditional love. So the blackness is absolutely 100% normal. And it is you entering into the room that you maybe have not spent as much time in as you've spent time in the room of using your physical eyes. So you're very good at using them. You can, see quite clearly what's going on around you. But you're giving yourself the opportunity now to use your inner eye. And in order for it to open, it just needs to be continually used. It just needs to be given the opportunity to do so. So that's a fantastic question. Thank you for asking it. The next question is, this is the student asking, will my physical spaces show the things you said you saw in the ACASMA Quantum Energy attuning session? And that's a fantastic question as well. And yes, your physical spaces will begin to reflect back to you in connection with what I saw in the session space. When I see that in the session space, it is me picking up on that reality in existence in the quantum field. I register, I read it, and I relay it back. And then you're able to then understand that space is you. And by allowing yourself to trust yourself and lean in and come from that understanding of yourself, come from that understanding of yourself is what I've shared with you. The more you come from that understanding of yourself, the more the reflection will come back to you from your outer world. The reflection in the outer world is merely a mirror of whatever you've been coming from, wherever you're believing you are and are being, And so as you listen and gain these clarities, these understandings of yourself in this ACASMA Quantum Energy course, you are giving yourself the opportunity to live from those vibrations. And then therefore you will see it reflected back to you. It is all incremental. So it's always going to come in a manner and in an amount and in a way that is most beneficial for you. For some people, it's a massive shift. It's like their life is a totally different life. And for others, it's incremental in a sense of spaces of their life begin changing. Pockets of their life begin shifting, and then they begin to see this momentum of shift coming in. Okay, she does go on to say that because her current situation is definitely not in the alignment of these, spaces of love and optimal spaces of feeling free in her life and love in her life. But she's saying she thinks when she heals her marriage and the space of that she is in her home, things will change drastically. And one of the really big key points here is the way in which the spaces of your marriage heal is when the spaces inside you heal. So the marriage healing cannot happen until you have healed spaces of you, and you bring that whole healed version of yourself to the marriage. Then the marriage has the opportunity to heal. There's another individual involved because it's a marriage. So they have the opportunity to meet you in that new alignment and bring forth or choose to live from that healed space with you. But they have free will in which they can, if they choose not to, then that would be something you would need to navigate as well. But if you're coming from your being in its healed state or even a healing process, you're going to be able to discern, read, perceive, understand, interpret, identify, connect with the marriage from a space that is most optimal for you. Is physically having freedom possible? Absolutely 100%. The only way you will have freedom in your physical world is when you have freedom in your inner world. It doesn't come first. So they they can have there can be reflections that you would think they came first, like as in you make some massive change in your outer world. Like people do this all the time, and I'm not condoning this, all right? Follow your own inner knowings. But some people will quit a job or end a relationship or start a relationship or start a job or whatever it is, big things. And then they will think that that is what propelled their life to change. But in essence, it was something that changed inside of them that gave them the courage or the discernment to change something they were doing in their outer world. So it is absolutely 100% physically connected. So when you are free inside of you, you will be free outside of you. It's completely interconnected. As long as the outer is not free, it is because the inner still has spaces that are encaged. Okay. Will what we heal or attune or ascend reflect in our physical world? I just went over that. So yes, yes, yes. You cannot separate it out. So if you heal something inside your understanding of yourself, and really what it is it's healing and expansion, because in the beginning it's more healing, because most of the time we've placed ourselves in an understanding of trauma or pain or suffering or sorrow or lack or whatever it is. But in essence, those are just energetic fields of alignment. And when you start understanding that, first, of course, meet yourself in the healing space and allow that for yourself. But once you understand that they're all just fields of energetic alignment and you're the one conducting the alignments of what fields you allow based upon your understanding of yourself as that creator being in this consciousness, you will begin to really move into more of flowing from expansiveness and less from I'm in a healing process. It'll be more of just I'm awakening, I'm remembering more who I am, and all the spaces of you that may have needed healing will be in the space of that healing. They will already be just through the understanding itself. It's really fantastic. So in the beginning, it can feel a little slower because you're kind of, it kind of feels like you're trying to pull yourself out of mud. But then once you learn what you're doing, you understand what you're doing, you understand who you are. Yes, really. Because you are not just what you see in the mirror, Holy One. That's a vessel. But when you understand who you really are, then there's no more mud, there's no more muck, there's no more um, slow flow. You are in an entirely different vibrational alignment of yourself. And everything that goes on in your physical world, everything is coming from your inner world. There's nothing outside of you that is outside of your creative point. You created it. And this is not a judgment. If someone is in a really bad space, this is an opportunity for you to understand knowledge is power. I saw someone the other day and they were very upset about this concept because they said something, they didn't comment on my video, there was a separate video. But they made a comment that's very harsh or something like that. And it's not meant. So when I'm speaking it, it's meant to be a lifeline. Because if somebody turns the light on in a room, that person that's stuck in that room of darkness has the ability to see the door, and then they can find their way out of that room and they can leave it and never have to live in that room anymore. So that's what's intended here. So please keep that in mind with all the work that I offer. Understanding yourself as the creator being and as the one who is absolutely 100% living the energetic spaces of your own inner being. You're living your energetic spaces. So whatever you're experiencing, what relationships, jobs, whatever it is, it's all coming from the creative point of view. And the power that is in that understanding is that you have the ability to change whatever's going on inside of you at any moment. You have the ability to change. Now, there are people that come into a lifeline and they carry stuff that may have been generationally created and designed by someone in their bloodline. That's why ACASMA Quantum Energy, the work I do, is so phenomenal, because it actually, through the connection with one person, moves through the family line because it understands that ACASMA is in a higher dimensional, higher vibrational space of connection, and it understands how this works. Our DNA, our blood, our waters are all running program that is encoded and carrying out these programs through the experiences, the central processing units, the computers, the vessels the human is having. And so another really big thing that's present here is this beautiful individual who is seeing this life that does not reflect love to her and is knowing and trusting and believing in herself and leaning in to expand into this next version of herself that is coming from love, right? She may not have even created what she's experiencing in this now line. She may have come in with the most beautiful, like open-minded, loving soul space, and then has a genetic alignment through blood, through her family lineage, to this type of marriage, this type of life. And she is in the incredible, powerful place of being in which she can shift that for her entire family lineage. And her children will never experience it because she will have healed it. And this isn't said to be another weight upon your shoulder. This is said to be a cape upon your back, that you are powerful. You are superhuman, and all have this ability. All have this ability. All right, let's see. Can you explain how even when I see blackness, my team, my ACASMA team, my personal team are all there for connecting in that space? And how do I connect to the quantum? Yes, they are always there. It's vibrational, it's energy. So you've been trained, humans have been trained to live in fear, very well trained. And I lived in fear for 40 some years of my life. So I know that. I know how this works because when I lived in that training, that program, and I ran it, I lived it, I believed it. All of my actions were connected to it. All of my thoughts were connected to it. And therefore, all of my experiences reflected it back to me. And I had to incrementally heal and shift through shifting my mind. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. This is energy flowing through the field. The heart, the feeling, the mind, the thought, the body, the action, it's all connected. And so when you are still seeing blackness in this quantum space because you're opening the third eye and it's not seeing anything else yet, it's just vibrational. It's beautiful. It is just as loving and just as powerful. It's just as if you are having some type of vibrational veil that is allowing you space to calibrate. If everything was removed all at once, you saw everything all at once, it might be too big, too fast. So it's like you're calibrating yourself to process and all that is really available to you. And so, yes, they're always still there. I'm glad you have that faith because she mentioned she has that faith that they are there, even though she doesn't see them. And the more you think about that, the more you imagine that, even when you're seeing the void, imagine what they look like, imagine where they are, imagine how they connect with you. And when your eyes are open, you're in more of a physical connection focus. You're still the quantum being. You're never not the quantum being. That's another really big thing that we're learning here and we're implementing here. This is the ascension of humanity, the awakening of humanity. You're never not the quantum being. So the energy session is just allowing you a space in which you get to see more of that space of you. But it's you when your eyes are open and it's you when your eyes are closed. Doesn't matter. There's no difference. And so when you think about it, imagine it, visualize it, contemplate it, ponder it, write about it, draw about it. You are opening the door again and again and again to understand that space of you more. And you've spent probably your entire life understanding the physical outer world. So this is a way in which you can connect deeper with this other space of you that is your eternalness. It will last. It is you forever and ever and ever. And so thinking about it is your key, which We can all think, we can all think, and we can all think very, very well. And most people have been thinking about certain things in cycles. So maybe they think of their fears, or they think of their worries, or they think of their wants, or they think of their have nots, whatever that is. And they notice that they're just always thinking about that. And they're always reflectively experiencing their worries, their have nots, their wants, whatever. So shift what you're thinking about, and you'll shift what you're experiencing. All right. And that is how you connect in with your quantum more. Think about your quantum, envision your quantum, allow yourself with your physical eyes open to imagine the connection of the quantum with the physical, because the physical is after effect. That's very important. Please make note of that. The physical is an after effect. The quantum is the eternal foundation. So thinking about the connectivity of the two, and allow yourself to shift your vision. When you see everything in a physical matter format, allow yourself to just imagine it in wave, because it's all energy. It's all energy. So you allow yourself to imagine it in wave. What does that look like? All right. Well, the tree is the beautiful formed tree. And then it's also these buzzing, emanating, moving spaces of light, of information that make up a tree, and the earth, and the sun, and your jewelry, and your physical body. Imagine it, look at it in the mirror or in your imagination, and allow yourself to see yourself as sparkling, flowing, emanating energy, because that's what you are. And the more you think about that, the more you bridge the gap between your physical world and your quantum, and understanding that it's all one, and understanding that you're the one making the physical. No one's making it but you. All right, now, and that's another, she has, how do I go there? So that's how you go there. And she says, I'm not saying that I don't have support of my team and that they're not there. No, not at all. I have full faith. I might not remember how to reconnect yet, but I know I'm right there. So good for you. Good for you. I love it. I love it. I love it. These were really powerful questions, and I'm so grateful to be able to answer them here. So thank you for asking them. And I hope that all my students will continue to lean in and trust themselves and ask me anything along the way, because this is how we learn, by sharing these spaces and expanding. So these were fantastic questions. I'm so, so grateful for them. I'm so, so grateful for each and every one of you, and this glorious space we get to be in together. So thank you to all who have watched this video, who've allowed these understandings to be given to you, to allow you to assess and decide if it's something that resonates with you or not. And if it does, just by thinking about it, it is being given the opportunity to run vibrationally through the collective. And isn't that a lovely thought? All right, Holy Ones, I thank you unendingly. If you don't already have my book, go on Amazon.com. Yes, go on Amazon.com and get my book, Beautiful AQE Foundations, Remember Who You Are, an incredible book that is highly activating. I have so many people writing me right now, emails telling me of all the glorious things that are happening in their lives due to the activations from just connecting with the book. So check it out. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please let me know. And if it's not March 10th yet, you still have time to join my AQE Foundations course, and we'd love to have you. And it's via live and video, so we accommodate all schedules and all time zones. So thank you unendingly for all that you are. Yera sukoane. Yana te aoa. Tukoa ye. Brokoko ana. Taukoa. 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 Blessings upon you, Holy One. Blessings.